Paymon who?
Mata Heyday.
Paymon Lata Heyday. Who is he?
Never paid taxes for 30 years. Fought the U.S. tax court and won.
See, I believe our rights come from God, not from government. Hello to my truth and freedom-seeking friends. I'm going to talk to you about why 99% of you crypto savers, owners, and investors do not have to, by law, pay any federal income tax on your crypto gains, transfers, exchanges, or transactions of any kind. My name is Paymon Motahede. I'm the founder and president of Freedom Law School, which I started in 1996. And for over 30 years, I've openly not filed and paid any federal income taxes and teaching the good American people like you how to do the same legally and safely. Never been to prison. These guys have been after me, and why? They're unsuccessful because I follow the law. And you also will see the law, where the law is on your side, my friends, to be free. So let's go to the subject of crypto income taxes, right? You see, you'll see why, you don't have to pay any capital gains tax. Capital gains tax is just another form of income tax. Now, whether you sell your crypto to somebody else or exchange one crypto to another type of a crypto, which happens a lot, or any other transactions that you may do with your crypto. For example, people send from their exchange wallet, from Coinbase, I've seen, to their own personal private wallet. IRS expects you to file an income tax, and you prove everything. You prove the cost basis of the sale. You prove that when you have one exchange of a crypto to another, how much you sold this bit crypto at to get the other one, because that is considered a sale by the IRS. And if you transfer your crypto from your own exchange to your private wallet, as far as IRS is concerned, hey, you sold it to somebody else. Because Coinbase, Craig, and Gemini, they sent a 1099 form to the IRS saying, hey, he sent this crypto over there someplace. We don't know who it is. You have to prove that that anonymous wallet of yours is actually yours, not someone else's. That is considered a sale by the IRS, and they come after you for income taxes. So how do you solve this problem? It's a big problem to prove your innocence, the cost basis of the transaction, to prove that it went from your right wallet, from your exchange, to your own wallet. How do you solve all this? Well, there's an easy solution to everything if you have knowledge. First, you should know that the IRS has this on top and near the top of the 2025 1040 tax form. For several years they've done this. They have this digital asset question right there. See? This is 2 lines, yes or no. I'm going to have to give you the most, this version of it because it's easier to see. This is a trap to get you and nail you one way or another on the very first page of the 1040 form to make sure that you don't miss it. You put your foot in the trap one way or another with this IRS crypto question. Here it is. They ask you at any time during this tax year, did you A, receive as a reward a warrant or payment for property or services, or B, sell, exchange, or otherwise dispose of a digital asset or financial interest in a digital asset? Yes and or no, you have to answer the question. At the end, of course, you have to sign that 10 for income tax confession trap form, which I'll get to in a minute, why that's a big problem for you, okay? See, the problem that most crypto investor savers have is the same as most Americans. We've been lied to. How? We've been programmed all of our wash with this lie, okay? You probably believe that filing an IRS 10 for income tax confession form is a safe way to avoid IRS audits and keep yourself out of prison. Yes, I know most of you have been brainwashed by your accountant, your CPA, the corrupt major media, and even tax attorneys that, whoa, you go to prison if you don't file, right? That is what they tell you. Well, you need to think again, my friends, okay? Because you were deceived into unwittingly increase your chance of going to prison for taxes when you sign under penalties of perjury that your 1040 form is true, correct, and complete. Yes, that is what you do. You see, you have to realize now, and you'll see that the safest way to have the IRS leave you alone is to not file any 1040 income tax confession forms with the IRS. And I'll show you clearly why, okay? The fact of the matter is that when you sign an IRS 1040 income tax confession form, it is a confession against yourself. You state under oath that you owe the IRS money. It is not automatic, okay? It is not. You must sign that form and confess you owe the IRS money. Otherwise, IRS has to go through a very expensive process of giving a chance at a trial in U.S. tax court to challenge their proposal. They'd rather just sucker you up to sign a 1040 income tax confession form, and that's how they get most Americans, okay? Here it is. You see that. Go get your last year's 1040 income tax form at the bottom of page 2 where it says, sign here. Yeah, the big print, sign here. There's this tiny little small font writing on the right-hand side. What does that say? Did your accountant or CPA explain to you what this form means? Well, I bet you did not. So I will. See, what this form says, that you sign this under penalties of perjury. You say, okay, Pavon, what does that mean? That means that you sign that piece of paper under oath. Same as if you were in a court of law with a judge and a jury. Yes, if you lie in a court of law before a judge or a jury, you can go to prison for lying under oath. That is what penalty of perjury means. On the penalty that if you lie, perjure yourself, you accept that responsibility and you will go to prison if you are convicted of lying under oath, okay? So basically it means, throw me in prison if everything on this form is not true, correct, and complete. Now, worse yet, you also claim that you owe the IRS on line 37 of the 10 for income tax confession form. You say here, amount you owe. Yeah, you say under oath the amount you owe the IRS. Here it is. This is the amount you owe. In plain English, your accountant, bookkeeper, CPA tells you, put on here the amount you owe, but don't worry, I put the amount you owe here for you on the right-hand side. Yep, the dollars. You pay your accountant, bookkeeper to sucker you and put the rope around your neck and give it to the IRS. Say, Massa, I'm paying my fair share of slavery. Please, accept that. Don't ask me for any more. Don't ask me to prove it in an audit. Please pick up somebody else, Massa. You declare your slavery to your master when you were deceived by your accountant, bookkeeper, CPA, and the major media to make yourself a slave of the federal government and the Epstein billionaire gang. So, but it gets even worse, folks. It gets worse. You see, on this crypto question I have you on the left-hand side here, you got to say yes or no, right? Well, guess what? If you say yes to the question on the crypto, you put yourself on the IRS audit list. The IRS is hammering crypto tax return filers with audits because IRS knows how expensive and difficult figuring out the cost basis of your crypto sales is. That's right. So IRS can tax you on your entire gross crypto sales and transfers, hurting you big time. Yep. Just like when you register yourself for guns, why don't you register your guns, the government? Oh, so when they want to take them, they know where the guns are. You told them you have guns. Same thing here. Okay? You told them you are a crypto owner. I'm one of those guys you want to pick on. For more easy money, go ahead, pick on me. Now, you don't want to do that, obviously, so you're thinking maybe I should tell them no. But you see, I just covered that. If you say no, you just lied under oath, which means you can land you in tax prison for 3 separate tax crimes. You've seen including tax evasion for up to 9 years for every 1040 form on which you lied about not having sold any cryptocurrency. So that's even worse, okay? And the crimes are right here. Look at them. I'm not making it up. Here it is. You can get attempting to evade or defeat a tax evasion, 5 years of prison time. Filing of fraudulent and false statements, 3 years. Filing fraudulent return statements or other documents, 1 year. In total, you risk going to prison for up to 9 years for each year you file a 10 for income tax or any other tax form. Wow. So if they come after you for, let's say, 5 years of filling out a 1040 forms that they pick on, you be going to prison up to 45 years. Could be a life sentence for some of you, for just innocent signing a piece of paper. Your bookkeeper, accountant, CPO, tax attorney deceived you to believing, oh, that's a safe thing to do. Pay me some money. I'm the expert. I keep you safe from the IRS. He's been deceived to enslave you. He doesn't know. He doesn't know anything I'm showing you here, okay? So that's why you don't want to sign this 1040 forms at all to begin with, okay? So the solution is don't file. Don't file 1040 income tax confession form because you're not supposed to pay income taxes to begin with, okay? So I'm going to show you how that works, okay? See, bottom line is I show Americans pay no income or payroll taxes by following the U.S. government's official legal websites. You are deceived into reporting and paying income tax you never owed in the first place. The deception lies in certain key terms defined differently than your dictionary. This U.S. individual you see on the 1040 income tax confession form is not a 50 states individual. Yep, he or she is actually a District of Columbia individual, okay? They should have this form renamed D.C. individual income tax return, not a U.S. individual of the 50 states. They deceived you into believing it is. You see, they played games. I'll show you how, okay? Those required to file an IRS 1040 form are citizens and residents of Washington, D.C., not the people of the 50 United States. Yep. So you're going to see now in the following pages, you will see tax law definitions as defined by the United States Congress and also U.S. Treasury regulations and as interpreted by the Supreme Court of the United States. These definitions were hidden in plain sight in the law books. So ready? Let's get to it because this applies to not just your crypto sales and transactions, but anything you make as a wage earner, as a business owner, commission sales, sale or rental of real estate, stocks, bonds, any kind of money you made as an American in the 50 United States, it doesn't apply to you. Except any work that you do for the federal government in Washington, D.C., or real estate in D.C., those you got to pay income tax on. But you're not a citizen or resident of Washington, D.C. by law required to file and pay federal income taxes. So I'll show you right there. Let's start with the IRS 1040 form instructions, which I agree with, okay? Here it is. They say about filing requirements on page 8 that these rules apply to all U.S. citizens, regardless of where they live. Yep, I agree 100%. The word U.S. citizen is a key word we have to define later on, as you shall see, okay? I'm going to go to a law straight from the horse's mouth. This is the government's official legal source of all federal laws. U.S. House of Representatives, okay? Here it is. This page at uscode.house.gov calls itself this. The United States Code is a consolidation and codification by subject matter of the general and permanent laws of the United States. It is prepared by the Office of the Law Revision Council of the United States House of Representatives. That's right, this is official source of law. The lawyers of the House of Representatives have put out there for the world to know. Lawyers, judges, you. They have all these categories of or titles of laws. Title 26 or Category 26 is the internal Revenue Code. Here it is, the federal tax laws. Let's go to some of those sections. Here goes Section 1, okay? Tax imposed. Everybody knows. Any accountant, CPA will tell you, oh, Section 1 of the code imposes an income tax. Yeah, and I agree, it does, okay? It says right here in introduction, Part 1, tax on individuals. It is. Tax imposed. I agree with that. Hereby impose a tax on taxable income of married individuals and other individuals, right? It says it all right there. I agree with that. But who are these individuals? You were deceived to believe it's you in the 50 states when it is not. Okay? So here we go. Let's look a little bit closer now. Okay? Here it is, U.S. Treasury regulations at ecfr.org, Part 101-1, income tax on individuals. Okay? And here is what it says. Okay? Section 1 of the Internal Revenue Code. By the way, here it is. The Internal Revenue Code. This is it. The Bible of the IRS is in my hands. You see it for yourself, okay? It's a thick book, okay? With over 10,000 pages of tiny font, minutia, gobbledygook, and tissue-thin paper to confuse you and your CPA, accountant, tax attorney who pretends to know the law. And they don't know this thing. All they know is to obey whatever the IRS says and fill out forms to make a good little slave and sign F-1040 from under. Penalty of perjury under oath, and put a rope around your neck and give it to the IRS. Yeah, give it to the IRS again. Ka-ching, hang ya. Okay, let's see what the law says. Okay, Section 1 of the Internal Revenue Code imposes an income tax on income of every individual who is a citizen or resident of the United States. Yep, I agree with that. Totally agree with that. And they use other language. Okay, see, look at this. Citizens or residents of the United States liable to tax. In general, all citizens of the United States, wherever resident, and all resident alien individuals are liable to the income taxes imposed by the code. Yep, okay. We agree on that. But you'll see, this is not you, the people of the 50 United States that they're talking about, okay? So let's go to Section 7701 from Title 26 Internal Revenue Code, okay? Here there's a Chapter 79 on definitions, yes. This is where the rubber meets the road. Pay attention. Now the good stuff is really getting to the meats and potatoes, folks. So hang in there. You're going to get the good stuff now, okay? Look at this. Here they say, when used in this title. What title? Talk about Title 26, the Internal Revenue Code. Yep, right here, folks. This book, yep, they don't make it by print anymore. It's all online these days. They talk about this, okay? Online version of it, okay? They define many terms in here like person, partnership, and partner, corporation. But look, they have a definition for United States and states. Oh, look at that. Interesting. Let's see what it says. Let's go first to state, okay? Because that makes it a little easier to read the rest. State shall be construed to include the District of Columbia, where such construction or understanding is necessary to carry out the provisions of this title. But look at this. District of Columbia is not a state. How can it make D.C. a state when it is not a state? Because they can. They can put whatever they want in there. The lawmakers can define things any way they want. So how about the term United States? Well, United States, when used in a geographical sense, and that's what we want to know, includes only the states, which we already know state includes only the District of Columbia. None of the 50 states are listed at all. Not New York, not California, not Florida, right? And the District of Columbia again. So, United States is what? District of Columbia, because that is what state is, plus District of Columbia. It's only D.C. The people that got to pay income tax are who? D.C. citizen residents. The whole United States, you thought all this time means the 50 states, means District of Columbia. You were lied to. You were deceived again. See, you didn't know Epstein billionaires run this country for a long time, did you? Yes, they have for a long time. They make themselves above the law and make you a slave, but you don't have to be a slave. You can be free if you choose to be, by watching with your eyes, listen with your ears, and think for yourself, right? Don't listen to the ignorant accountants, CPA, tax attorneys who tell you, oh no, this will get you in trouble. Oh, yeah. They don't know the law. They cannot refute it. They just tell you to be scared. That's all they know how to do, okay? Let's go look at these terms, United States. Here's a Supreme Court case called Hubin and Allison versus Ibad Tax Commission of Ohio. This case is important because it tells you what the United States can mean in law is different things. You see, United States to you always mean 50 states, but in law, it's not always the 50 states. Here it is from the mouth of the U.S. Supreme Court, okay? The term United States may be used in any one of several senses. That's right. It could be different things depending on the situation. It may be merely the name of a sovereign occupying the position analogous to that of other sovereign family of nations. Okay? America as opposed to Russia, China, France, Germany, that type of thing. And we as collectively as looked at one as opposed to other countries in the world. Okay, because remember, America is not a country. We're really 50 countries in a union. We are a union, okay? But from the outsiders, we're one. Okay, that's how founders did it. Okay. United States may designate the territory over which the sovereignty of the United States extends. Yes, see, that's D.C. and its territories. And oftentimes, in laws, they only apply to D.C. and or its territories like Puerto Rico, Guam, Virgin Island, American Samoa, military lands and bases. Yes. So that's where sovereignty, like a king, applies. Okay, federal government is king in the D.C., in the district given to the federal government. It's okay. They have very, very limited specific powers in the 50 United States. Okay, so and the third sense of the term United States, okay, is what? Is, here we go, let me send this for you a little bit, okay? It may be the collective name of the states which are united by and under the Constitution. Well, yeah, you name the 50 states. You name each of them, like, again, California, Colorado, Ohio, Vermont, as a collective 50. That's what that is. So which one they use to come after you for income taxes? The second one, the territory over which the federal government is sovereign or king, okay? So let me give you another example about this stuff, how this works. Look at this. This is now the example where they use the word 50 states. This is section 4612, okay? Definitions and special rules. For the purpose of this subchapter, this is a subchapter on petroleum, on oil, okay? Here they have the term United States also defined, okay? United States means, look at that, the 50 states. Wow! They remember to include the 50 states.
Wow!
See? You cannot assume that 50 states is here. I'm sorry, here in section, in here. Okay? Section 7701. Okay? Because it was meant to be kept out. And for oil, they can tax oil in all 50 states and the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico and any possession of the United States, the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands and the Trust Territory of the Pacific Islands, and more. Okay? So this proves to you that the 50 states are excluded from the definition of the United States and does not apply to your 1040 income tax form or you at all to begin with. Okay? Here's another Supreme Court case of Stamberg versus Carhart. Okay? Here in this one, okay, you see that tells what? When a statute or law includes an explicit definition, we must follow that definition, even if it varies from that term's ordinary meaning. Yep, see? The 50 states are excluded. Therefore, they're not in there. Okay? In the definition of the United States, when it comes to income tax laws. It is axiomatic self-evidence obvious that the statutory or legal definition of the term excludes unstated meanings of that term. If something is not listed in the definition, it is simply not there. Right? And here's another case, a tax case. Gould versus Gould, 1917, unanimous Supreme Court case, says this rule is even harsher on government, harder, okay, when it comes to taxes. In the interpretation, or understanding of statutes, laws, levying or imposing taxes. So in understanding laws that impose taxes, it is the established rule not to extend the provisions by implication or implying beyond the clear import of the language used, or to enlarge their operation of tax laws so as to embrace or include matters not specifically pointed out. If something is not specifically pointed out, it's simply not there. 50 states are not included in the United States in the tax law, section 7701, therefore it's not there. And in case of doubt, the tax laws, are construed most strongly against the government's power to tax and in favor of the citizen not being taxed. There it is, folks. Any question, any doubts? It goes against the government. So now you see why this 10 for U.S. individual income tax return is not a 50 states individual, That's right. It's not. What it really is a District of Columbia, D.C. individual income tax return. So whether it is for you as an individual, married, single, as long as you're not from the District of Columbia, you're from France, Egypt, Russia, Germany, California, Florida, Texas, no tax needs to be paid by you on your crypto sales, investments, real estate, stocks, bonds, wages, salaries, commissions, none of that stuff, because D.C. is a foreign country as opposed to each of the 50 sovereign states in the American Union, just like France, Germany, and Italy are countries within the European Union over there, right? Their country, so it's California, Texas, New York, right? Okay. Now that we covered that, folks, you got to know this, Basically, do not put the rope around your neck. It's very important because that is what gives the IRS the power to mess with you, Go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, and educate yourself, You can start the 7 easy steps to regain your power and freedom right there on the front page of our website. Everything I told you more is there. You'll see again clearly why, based on U.S. government's official legal websites, no law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay income and payroll taxes, And you will now never again voluntarily pay the Washington, D.C. swamp, the Epstein gang billionaires, legally and safely with a guarantee if you wish. The key is what? The key is you. That's it. And I mean you must do one thing, and that is you must seek the truth. And if you do so, the truth shall set you free. Again, start at 7 easy steps to regain your power and freedom. What you do is very simple. Put your smartphone in your car when you go shopping, work, errands, at the gym. Let it play. Listen. The videos are 5-10 minute short ones to start with on your drive to wherever you're going. At lunch and dinner, playing again. This time, watch them, and listen at the same time. You see, oh my gosh, I've been suckered up all my life. I didn't know. I wish I did not sign all those 1040 confession forms in the past. Not be a slave. I didn't know. But now, you know. Now, you will be free, And tell other people about it also, folks. It's about truth. It's about love. Live and let live, love and let love, and freedom to everybody. You can call Freedom Law School also if you have questions at 813-444-4800. We'll do our best to help you. But really, everything's at our website, freedomlawschool.org, to begin with for you, So the 7 steps start with step 1, follow the law. I give you a glimpse of that right now, Step 2, I talked to you about you got to start filing income tax confession forms on the penalty of perjury, right? And then step 3 is realize IRS's bluff is a Wizard of Oz, You've been brainwashed all your life to be a slave. No longer you be brainwashed because now you realize that the IRS operates on deception and bluff, And step 4 is stop paying tribute to and worship and be afraid of the beast. It's really slavery IRS, Question authority, Roger, Congress members, file and pay income tax only if your congressman can show you the law that requires you to file and pay income taxes. That's right. you pay income tax. If your congressman can show the petitions, which are available on our website for free, you send them out and tell them, hey, I'll pay my fair share. Yes, I will. I owe zero, I think. I got the law on my side. It's all quoted, listed, attached to the petitions to Congress members, like you saw. But if I'm wrong, please show me, and I'll pay. I'll pay gladly and dearly. Guess how many times any congressman, any lawmaker has ever shown us wrong? That many times. Zero. And thousands upon thousands and tens of thousands of these have gone out to Congress members. I know, because they download it for free on our website to send it out. Okay? Because we are right about this. You've been deceived to become a slave and no longer. Okay? Then, step 5 is realize IRS is not this Godzilla monster the media creates for you. They're a toothless lizard. Okay? If you stop filing those 10 for income tax confession forms, stop signing it. Go to our website at freedomlawsuit.org and stop income tax withholding from your paycheck. That's right there on our website on the right. Okay, go up there. Free yourself from tax withholding. Right there. Open that tab. Okay. But the forms, the instructions are there in the bottom of in step 1. Okay. All right. Now, step 5 is take courage from our victories. Why? Because the fact is, no students of Freedom Law School has ever gone to prison for federal taxes, nor had their paycheck or bank account levied or home or business seized by the IRS, as long as they came to Freedom Law School and stopped filing and paying income tax with Freedom Law School and stayed with Freedom Law School. That's it. See? That's my records, several decades old of success. And you can be part of it. You can be free if you choose to, okay? And then after that, it's up to you. Next, here forward is optional. You can do it all free on your own. Pay me nothing. Keep your money. It's yours. I know inflation is hurting you. Cost of food, gas, everything's going through the roof. And your income is not keeping up with that. I know you need your money, brothers and sisters. So keep it. You need it. Okay? They will leave. IRS leaves over 99% of non-filers alone completely. They do. Not 100%, but over 99%. But some of you say, Paymon, I want to be part of fighting the corruption, the criminality. I will not pay the Epstein gang billionaires that own the governments, these pedophiles, any of my money. I don't want to put up that war over there and our sons and brothers getting killed out there for another foreign little country out there. Right? Why? Okay? So, and we're in debt to about $40 trillion. So you can do what the Founding Fathers did and be protected at the same time. Join the Restore Freedom Plan. If you're watching this video, you have the spirit of America's Founding Fathers in you. I know that. What did they do? They hung together. That's right. And that's what it takes for us to take America back to freedom once again, okay? See, here's a quote from Benjamin Franklin. Gentlemen, we must all hang together, or else we shall all hang separately. Yep. So join the Restore Freedom Plan, and if you do, you will enjoy 100% guarantee, okay? When you legally stop filing and paying income taxes, as long as you're a member of the Restore Freedom Plan, Freedom Law School will prevent the IRS from levying your money, or Freedom Law School will reimburse you, and you will not go to prison. That's right. You will not go to prison. We do all the legal work, unlimited consultation, legal help, attorneys, done by us. IRS takes your money by force, 10,000, 10 million or more, doesn't matter. We'll reimburse you out of our funds. So you have no risk at all. Zero risk. Best way to go. And you're part of America being free. We need to elect more Ron Pauls, more Thomas Masseys that represent you, the American people, in Congress. Right? That's how the baller congressmen. We were so poor, we're going to fund the election of good people, and the bad guys elect bad guys in Congress. That's the problem we got. The politicians have been corrupted because the income tax slavery system makes us poor, and we get corrupt politicians as well. Okay? So it's up to you, brothers, to change it, and I got good news for you, my friends. Step 7 is my favorite. Love and spread the truth about the Restore Freedom Plan. Okay, ride Freedom Law School's horse, okay, of knowledge and truth and law, and empower America and our families to be free. Okay, so by doing this thing, we'll pay you. We'll pay you to love and spread the truth. The first membership of Summit joining is 50% yours. Again, let people do it on their own for free because you need the money badly. But if you want to be part of the plan, it's an option available for those of you who want 100% guarantee, 100% peace of mind as well. While they're feeling good, they're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. You're not giving the criminals, Epstein gang, billionaires any money, these warmongers, no money, okay? You're keeping it for you, your family, and if you choose to restore freedom in America by joining a Restore Freedom Plan. So with that, my friends, I invite you to love yourself, to educate yourself, okay? I made all this gobbledygook simple for you, okay? Educate yourself and share it with anybody you love. Your spouse, your children, your parents, siblings, family members, friends, co-workers, okay? Spread the truth. We'll send you our brochures, Restore Freedom brochure and Fast Track Your Success. These 12-page brochures are free for your asking because they show how no law requires 99% of Americans to file pay income or payroll taxes. And I'll pay anybody $50,000 if they can show me anything wrong in here. Put your name at the bottom and phone number, we'll pay you. When people join our Restore Freedom Plan, be a modern-day Paul Revere and share the truth. In Iran, where I came from, folks, you could not criticize the government. You could go to prison and jailed and tortured for simply criticizing the Shah, the king of Iran. But in America, we have right to free speech. You can say what you want to say. Publish material. Okay? Exercise it. On our website, you can download these brochures also, by the way, okay? For free. Or we'll link it to somebody you know. Text them, email them, and let's get out there, folks. Let's get after it. Let's love America. It's the greatest country on earth. Still is. Despite all of our shortcomings and imperfections, we got to work together, get it back to the greatness that was a vision of America's founding fathers. They paid with their lives, their fortune, and their second honor to give us this institutional freedom that we have, that your rights come from God, you're born with it. The government is there only to protect you and your rights. That's it. But today, you don't have to pay that kind of price. All you can do is stop being a slave, number one. Okay? And that's great. If you choose to be like this great man and take a portion of what you pay the IRS into a Restore Freedom Plan, 30% of what you would have otherwise paid the IRS, that's right. Keep the 70%, 30% in. Into Restore Freedom Plan, you're 100% protected and you're helping America become a free, great nation. It's meant to be once again. I give you all my love and invite you to live and let live, love and let love, seek the truth, and then you shall be free at freedomlawschool.org.